Hi everyone, this is for the second assignment, chapter 6, week 7, okay? And so you are creating a grade book, all right? And so it tells you that you are a computer technology assistant in the English department or to the English department, and you've been asked to create a grade book for the Introduction to Literature class, okay? And so here's a list of your students, and here's your quizzes and your tests, and here's their scores. Okay, and I think I can't type. Nope. There we go. I didn't notice that looked a little weird. All right, so what you have to do is that the data needs to be formatted as a table. Rows 1 and 2 needs to be formatted appropriately. And you need to add a total row, which is this average. You calculate the average of each graded item, and you know how to do that, so I'm not going to do that for you. So we're going to just jump right on into here. It says you need to create a final percent column and a grade column. So let's look at the final percent column. And we need Mark Kennedy over here, so we did his for this. Final percent is, it tells you in the directions that each quiz is worth 10%. Each test is worth 35% of the total grade. So when you look at this, it's equal to B7, okay, which is this one, okay, times 0.1, which is 10%. Plus his other grade is this one, C7 times 0.1, plus D7 times 0.1, plus E7, his test, which is worth 35%, and the other test, which is worth 35%. And you put all that in, and you hit enter. Remember, when you do an Excel, and there's numbers, I need to see the formulas. Do not just type them in, or it will not count, okay? There is one thing I wanted to show you before I forget, and you probably remember this, but when you have a string of information to put in, if you highlight this one after you first put it in and drag it over, it fills it in for you. Okay, so that's how you would do the final percentage, the grade. And it tells you the grade, it will use the VLOOKUP function, all right? And so if you kind of stop about VLOOKUP, if you use its pop-down menu, VLOOKUP does not put in absolute reference. And you can do it without the absolute reference. You need to be careful of your numbers, or you can go ahead, use the pop-up menu, fill in the spots because it does make it easier, I think. And then once you have the information, go back and put in the absolute reference. So G7, so based on this one, okay, and it's for J5 through K9. J5 through K9, okay. And it's the second column over here, so his grade's going to be over here in the second column, all right? And so that's all that means. And when you look at that, it kind of puts everything up in color, and you hit enter, and so you're good to go. The other part of this, it says the output area. You do need to format this output area, and the student's name is Mark Kennedy, and you have to put his grade here. And it says that you need to use both the match and the index functions, all right? So to do this, you do index first, and this is on page 388 and 389, and some additional help that I really thought to put this grade in was really a great big help is their example on page 390, okay, about top part of the page. So to do the index first, you hit equals index. Oh, you have to type first. All right, and it's telling you need an array, and so the array is A4 right here through H11. Okay, so that's what you need. And then you need to do a comma. And then you add the match part of this. And the match part is, it's talking to you about you need parentheses. Yes, you do need the parentheses, okay? It'll just get things all messed up if you don't. Okay? K14, which is Mark's name, so that's who you're looking for, comma, the area for the list of names, which is this one, comma. Then you're going to add a 0, which means you're looking for an exact match, okay? And you're looking for it in column 8. which is right here. Okay, so you put 8 in another parentheses, and you hit enter. And I did a typo. Hang on a minute. Okay, my typo that I did is I can't even read my own notes, okay, is that this needs to be H11, let me double check, comma match, parentheses K14. You really have to be careful of this stuff. A4 colon A11, comma 0. Okay. And still doesn't like me. Okay, so my error was this 8 right here. Like I said, I can't read my own notes tonight. You need to have the comma. All right, and I didn't have the comma, so you have to be real careful when you put it in. And anytime you have error comments, you need to go back and write it out again. Now, like I've told a lot of you, sometimes if these formulas are confusing, just go ahead and put in your data and write out what your formula should be, then put them in, and that way you can go back like I did and check your notes to see what's going on, and if you can type or not. All right, one night. So that's it. And for this one, okay, now Mark Kennedy, instead of typing his name, you need to put in equals A7, and that's just part of it. That's just part of me checking for things. And then you're not going to print it because this is not a face-to-face class. Don't forget to answer part 2. If you have any questions, let me know, and remember to do these tasks and to do your average. Okay, you don't need to do this part, but you do need to do average. I'm going to highlight this just see, you can't see that. All right, you don't need to highlight it. I'm just doing this to remind you you need to complete the average part of this. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Bye.